Hey guys, my name is Salem Soni, and you're listening to The Mind Speaks. So, in this past couple of days, I've been thinking about this whole idea of how to have emotional stability, whether we're talking about your personal life, your business life, your relationship, whether you have big aspiration financially, whether you have great goals in terms of your marriage, whether you want to travel the world, whether you just don't want to live an apathetic life, whatever the goal may be, there has to be a level of mental stability, mental toughness for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. I didn't really know which uh, or the best way I would put this, I didn't know at what point in my life I would be able to achieve that. What I was thinking would be a primal mental toughness level, and then I realized recently, really, through talking to different people, listening, reading books, listening to Tay's podcast, just surrounding and entrenching myself into this idea, I started realizing more and more that this is not so much of a destination that you achieve, but yet it is a consistency, a commitment to growth. There was a gentleman who said a statement that I really love, and I want to share this with you because I think it encapsulates exactly my thought process, my discovery, where I'm trying to go. He said, commitment to continuity creates emotional stability. Commitment to continuity creates emotional stability. Here's why. The whole idea of sometimes we up and down, where we're in it and then we give up, we're really hot one day, okay, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to make all these sales calls, or I'm going to love my wife, I'm going to tell her I love her, I'm going to come home, I'm going to buy the flowers, we're engaged, and then a month later, maybe she didn't kiss you, maybe she's not reciprocating the same amount of energy or vibe as much as you wanted to, and so now you're starting to become more cold, you start to become more distant, you start more absent, you're not as engaged, you're not as into it as much as you wanted to before, or you're making these calls, you're part of your company, you're entrenched, you started your own business, you were doing all these things, trying to sell things online, you did e-commerce, whatever the case may be, and you give up. And the sucky part about all of that is that we just don't have a stability, a toughness enough to last it a long time. And that was a struggle that I was having. And my struggle was more towards the fact that I was not having the type of finances or the type of the level which I thought I would be by now. Like, I was thinking to myself, after I finished, I went to a pretty prominent school. I thought that with a degree in hand, I'm going to go out there, I'm just going to go kill it. But in my head, in the back of my head, I always had this idea of being an entrepreneur. I just didn't know that it was going to be this freaking hard. I didn't have this in mind. I was still serving God. I was still good, still going to church, still doing all these different things. But it was hard, man. It's difficult. And then I started realizing it's not just the fact of saying that it's difficult, it's hard, that's going to make my mental stability to remain at a very stable area. That was something that I had to really be conscious of taking the right conscious steps to make that happen. Like, it doesn't just happen on its own. Like, you have to make that happen. You have to be productive in saying, okay, I'm going to do this so that this changed. I'm going to do this so that and that and that changed. So that was kind of like where I found myself in that particular circle of like, okay, this is what I want to do. These are the things I'm trying to achieve. And so in the midst of all that, I found myself really kind of like at a moment's notice saying to myself, what are the things I can do? So I started reading books. And one of the books that really changed my thought process was like How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. That played a big role. Then I started reading different books. Another big books that really made the shift for me, that's for sure, was something called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. That was a book that shifted things for me. Another book that was very important was in different genre. Another one was like The 10 Rules of Dating by Dr. Ari Vernon. That book also shifted some things for me. And then I read the book Outliers by what's his name? Outliers is by I forget the journalist. I forget his name, but that was another book that also did it for me. There was just a variety of books, and then I started listening to a lot of podcasts. Another book that was good, Soar, by Bishop T.D. Jakes. That was a book that also was very practical, very pragmatic from a Christian perspective, written by a prominent Christian pastor on entrepreneurship. That was really good. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. That was another book that also did the change for me. I read a book by my father on Le Profil d'un Leader. It was a book, really, it's a French book, but the thing that was in there, he took the life of Joseph, broke it down, and there was some leadership principle that they got out of there. The ability to produce wealth. This is actually something upcoming, this is more of a rough draft. That's something my dad was kind of like, I'm helping them, trying to bring that out. I mean, that's going to be an incredible one. Definitely. I mean, there's not so much I can say, but really the concepts in there started changing the mind for me. But what am I trying to get to? The point I'm trying to get to is I came to an understanding that commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability, to the sense that I have to remain committed to the goals that I want to do, so that even when the troubled times come, by the way, they will come. If you've ever spent more than one day on earth, you're going to realize that trouble will come. That's why babies come crying. No baby comes smiling, they cry. So you already know if you come out of your mother's womb crying, you know that this earth is going to have some tears for you. There's going to have tears reserved for you for the moment you come out of the belly of your mother. So you got to get used to the fact that there's some things that are not going to be as pleasant as you think you are. You're going to have some crying closet moments. Some crying closet moments. What does that mean? When you're crying, no one is there to hug you. No one is there to pat you on the back, and no one cares. In that particular moment, you're going to realize that is part of the process towards success. And there are two different types of people. There are people who, when that happens to them, they shrink within themselves and run away. And there are the people who, when that happens to them, they ask why, they grumble, they might complain for a little bit, but they don't let the complaining stop them. After a while, you swallow your pride and you just move forward and you go to the next level. Why is that so important? Because in the next level, you're going to have another crying closet moment, and then you're going to repeat the process, and then you're going to go to a higher level, and it's going to repeat the process over. And by the moment you think you've made it, you're going to repeat the process to go to a higher level. That's just life. That's just life. And if you want to be successful, welcome to life. That's the life of successful people. It's just a repetition of becoming mentally stable. So if that is what is in front of you, think about this, right? If you're watching, if you follow my YouTube channel, if you follow me, I think this might be the biggest thing I've ever talked about, because sometimes it's hard. We talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about money, but it doesn't matter, because if you don't have the mental fortitude, you're going to crash. I've talked about relationships for many years. If you don't have the strong mental fortitude, you're going to crash. People are going to break your heart. People are going to leave you. People are not going to talk to you the way you want to. You're going to love you more. You're going to give more, and then you're going to wonder why they're not giving you back as much as you're giving them. Well, that is life. Let me tell you this. If you learn this, it's going to help you in the long term. It's going to help you in your next relationship. It can help you in your current relationship. It can help you in your marriage. It's going to help you in business. It's going to help you in your walk with God. It's going to help you in your faith. Understand, your commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability, meaning that because I have the goals, that God has given me a gift, and he has a message that is deposited in me, and I want this message to get out there, that it doesn't matter. I mean, I have the money for plane tickets to do a mission trip somewhere, but I still believe and I still plan to go there. I don't have the money to go and see the different type of things I want to accomplish financially in terms of my business, but I still have a commitment to the mission. What is my mission? My mission is to impact as large amount of people, to be able to leave a positive impact on the world. I want to be able to personally impact positively over 1 billion people. That's a dream that I've had for a long time. I remember one time I had a poster in my bedroom when I had 1.1 billion. That was the population of Africa at the time, because I wanted to have a tremendous impact in the agriculture sector, because I knew that agriculture impacts a lot of people. It's not that I wanted to be a farmer. It's not that I wanted to do stuff in agriculture per se, but I knew that agriculture was a way to impact a larger group of people. You can do that in technology. You can do that in engineering. You can do that in music, entertainment, whatever the case may be. You can write books. There's many ways. For me, that was, at the time, I was thinking agriculture is the way to go. But now I realize my goal was not agriculture. My goal was, how can I impact the greatest amount of people ever? So the mission stays the same. The method may change. I may do it via business. I may do it via doing a through the message of the salvation that comes through Jesus, because that ultimately is greater than somebody being fed. That's ultimately greater than somebody have a place to stay, clothes on their back. Because if they're clothes on their back and their eternal soul is damned, it doesn't matter. So to me, like, those things started changing in my mind. I realized, okay, the missions remains the same. Why am I telling you this? For you to realize, for you to have emotional stability, have a mission that is clear. Keep your mission in front of you all the time. So for me, it was like, okay, in my relationship, my goal is to be an example husband to my wife, an example father to my future children, an example leader in my community. I want my parents to be proud of me. I want my sisters and all my siblings to say, okay, that is the guy that we want all the family to imitate him. So that was the mission. So I remain clear to the mission. I remain clear to what I wanted to do. I remain clear to my mission. So when the method might have changed, it might have mean, okay, in my relationship, that means sometimes when you have to be patient, sometimes when you're not patient, but you know patience is going to help you to your ultimate goal, you are patient. Sometimes you might not be wrong, but you know that in this particular case, you got to be the bigger person and apologize. Because why? Because if you don't apologize, it destroys the relationship, and it slows you down from the ultimate mission, right? The mission is important. The ultimate goal is more important than your current feeling. So for me, I had to realize I have to improve. I had to change, because me choosing not to change was delaying me from attaining whatever the goal was. Like financially, I realized in business, times are gonna suck. I'm starting things out. Like sometimes you feel like you're speaking to the wind. No one listens to it. Like for a long time, I went back to my YouTube channel and I started this. And I like using YouTube as an example because it's a practical example. Many of you guys who are listening to this have found me through YouTube. Many people have listened through me via YouTube. So unless you're someone who would know me outside of some other word, if digitally you found me, it's because I've posted a ton load of videos on YouTube. Because at the time, I was actually not even doing it for views. I was not even doing it for any of you guys. You know the reason I was doing so many videos on YouTube? I wanted to get better at speaking. When I came to America, I didn't know how to speak English. People used to make fun of me. I got bullied when I was in middle school. I wanted to get better at speaking. I wanted to get rid of my accent. I wanted to become more comfortable in front of the cameras. That's the reason why I did this, not for you guys. But now my goals have changed, because now the mission has become more clear. Why did I want to speak so well? Because I felt like there was a message in me and I wanted to get the message out. Even financially, my goal was like, it was not just to make money. I wanted to make enough money so I can have the influence so that I can speak. And then I realized you can already have a message, and those who are willing to hear you while you don't have that influence yet, they will already get the results. So my messages remain the same. Go out there and go watch some of the old videos. Maybe I've shifted a little bit. Maybe I've polished it a little bit. Maybe there's emphasis on one particular topic. If you find me and I'm in an area where I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about business, I'm talking about faith, but the goal has remained the same. My mission is to still positively impact people around the world, to be a world changer. That has always been the goal. That has always been precise. But now I'm starting to realize that for a long time, when people used to not listen to me, I would be so depressed. I would be so down. Or sometimes when I would do something and I would still be right and I still be losing. I'll still be following God and I still be broke. I remember times when I didn't have enough money. Like I had $1 in my bank account. Like $1 for like several weeks. $1. Like I remember one time I had things that I was signed up for, and I remember if it hit my account, I would have been an overdraft, then pay the fee for the fact of not having money anyway. Like I remember those times, man. I remember those times. So if you don't have the emotional stability, you will crack. Like this is the reality. You will not be able to withstand that. And you think that only happens to people who are broke? I'm telling you, there are people who've obtained levels of success in sports, in music, in entertainment, and they take their life away. I remember the first time I saw a millionaire completely take his life. I remember this gentleman, I respect his family, so I'm not going to divulge his identity, but this guy, because he was faced with a ginormous problem that to many people would be like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. This guy had a lot of money, and just took his life. And I was thinking to myself, like, how do you take your life when you have so much? And I realized it's emotional stability. That has nothing to do with how much money you have. Because you think that only broke people have issues. No, rich people have their problems too. It's just different type of problems. So if you don't have emotional stability while being wealthy, you're going to have the same issues. right? So emotional stability, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your creed, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't, like, everybody deals with it, from the poorest person to the richest person, from black, white, Latinos, Asians, whatever part of the world you might be, whatever country you might be, even whatever religion you might be, whatever even sexual orientation you might address to. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to have to deal with this issue. If you don't address to your emotional stability, man, you're going to crash. My goal with this video is to awaken you to this, right? Like, the solution, I'm going to repeat it again, is commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability. Commitment to continuity, meaning I'm committed. I will achieve my goal. There are times I'm going to suck. I know they're coming. There are times I've sucked in the past. I know they're coming. You know, one thing I've always had in my head, I remember that one time I'm on a plane. I'm coming back from London, UK, and I'm flying into Orlando, Florida. And I'm on the plane overseas. We're over the Atlantic. There's nowhere to land at this point. And I'm having this crazy, I don't even want to attack. I don't know. It was like my head started pounding so my stomach, like I started puking everywhere. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm locking in. I feel like I'm throwing up everything inside of me. I felt like I started losing consciousness. I'm banging on the door. The hostess comes, but I locked the door from the inside and I couldn't reach it. Like, to a point where they had to get the cabinet key and open it from outside. They open it. They see me on the ground. I have all this vomit all over me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. And the crazy part, I'm traveling by myself. I have no family on the plane. No one knows me. It's crazy. I'm thinking I'm about to die. But in that very moment, you know what I was thinking? In the moment where it seemed like it was blink, I was thinking, there's going to be a time where I'm going to look back and tell the story of what's going on here. I'm serious. This is what I'm thinking in the moment where it seems like I'm dying. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, yo, it's going to be a crazy story when I tell what is going on right now. Like, I'm imagining myself in the future telling the story, which I'm doing now. It's to let you know you have to remain. I knew I was, like, I felt like I was going to die, but I remained confident to the fact that, nah, God, my goal is not yet done. I haven't attained my mission, so I can die. I don't want to make this much longer than it should be, but I really want you to try to create that mental toughness. Like, you may say, well, Salem, I'm not tough like you. You might be born like that. And let me tell you, no one is only born like that. You develop that. What did I say? I read books, listened to podcasts, I listened to people. Like, I wasn't born this tough. They made fun of me. Did I just tell you I was bullied? For a long time, people kept making fun of me. Tough things happened. My uncle was killed. The only reason I'm in America is because people have tried to kill us. And we had to run for our lives. We were political refugees. I'm not even allowed to go back to my country where I'm from. Problems will happen, man. Like, your life is not always going to be rosy. It doesn't matter where you are. You can live in the most peaceful place. You can live in the Bahamas, for all I care, on the beach. Everything seems nice, but you're still going to have trouble. So you got to have some mental and emotional stability. You have to be committed to the mission. Be committed to the mission. Be committed. I always said, I'm committed to my goals. I'm committed to what I want to do. I'm going to impact. Like, it's all in your head. 90% of your success, some people say 80, but I think it's even 90% of it is mental toughness. It's mental. It's all in your head. Changing your way you think, changing your mindset, changing the way you approach stuff, changing the way you look at life. You might have a test. You might be in school right now. Your university. I'm going to speak to a group of young people tomorrow on Skype, and they're all over the world. Some are in Africa, some are in Europe, some are in the United States. I'm going to speak to all of them, and one of the things I'm going to tell them globally is for them to understand that many of you guys, you're facing challenges. First, change the way you think. First, change the way you look at how God is looking at you. Some of them think that their life is a punishment, but it's not. Difficult things happen. Worse things have happened to worse people, to people with less and more than you. And however their life ended up turning out was based on how they thought. I remember someone said, everyone is self-made, but only the rich admit it. Everyone is self-made, but only the rich often admit it. That means that even people who are broke, they are the way they are most often due to the way they are thinking, or something happened and their thought process kept them there or changed them into what they are. Right? So you have to start thinking, how can I change my mind? And one of the keys that is very important to understand is commitment to continuity, to the mission, to the goal, to the ultimate prize, place. That leads to emotional stability. So how do you commit to continuity? The best way for you to get to feel like you're committed to continuity is to have consistent growth. Right? Commitment to continuity is best described by consistent growth. So, for example, the relationship with the love of my life right now, one of the things I'm always trying to push myself is consistently growing in my love life. Meaning, like sometimes I feel like my communication can improve. So more and more I'm communicating. I'm putting myself in. Sometimes I'm comfortable. Like we have to talk about things. Sometimes I don't feel like talking about, but I have to say, hey, listen, I gotta grow here. I gotta become more of a husband, a man here. We're not married yet, so I'm learning what does that mean. You know, being the right boyfriend, fiance, whatever the case may be. Like to place things. Like what does it mean to go from being single into being in a relationship for someone. You know, in the Christian realm, they like to use the word courting. It doesn't matter. You still gotta grow. If you're not growing, you're remaining the same. Like, listen, anybody who comes into your life will change your life. You can have a dog and that changed your life. You have a goldfish and it will change your life. You have to change your schedule. You have to remember to feed the thing. If not, it's gonna die in your aquarium, right? You have to. I mean, listen. I have a garden that sometimes like I forget to water it once or twice and the plants already turned yellow and I'm like, oh my God, like that already is like it's taking time out of my schedule, it's taking time out of my thought process. I have to think about it. Like that takes like you have to engage into it. You can't just like loosely do it, right? So for me, the commitment to growing, like I want to grow my communication with her. I want to grow in the way I love her, my expression of my love for her, my attentiveness to her. Like all these different things are very important. Like it could be our work. You want to grow, you want to improve. Like the skills. I remember last year, I didn't want to learn about some different things. And I started thinking to myself, okay, there are some software skills that I've always been afraid to learn. Like things like Photoshop, Premiere Pro. I'm like, this year I was like, okay, that's one of the goals that I put down. I need to learn these things. I need to grow. I need to grow. Like one of the things I didn't do for a long time, but I saw people talk about it was affiliate marketing and courses online. So I produced my first course this year. It was crazy. I got my first check. It was a small check. I'm not gonna lie to you. My first check for my online course was $40. $40. I remember getting the notification. I was like, oh my God. Like some people were like, $40? Like what? That's nothing. But to me, that was proof that it works. That was proof. I felt like I made $1 million. That's how I felt. Like I made $1 million. What? Because it works. And the good thing for me is it took me almost like a month to record that course, but I was so proud of the fact that it worked. Some people will tell you stories. Oh yeah, I produced $14,000 in my first week with my course. That's cool. That's them. But for me, I'm glad that I grew. I'm glad that I went from the guy who was just watching YouTube videos of people talking about doing this to have done it. And I can tell you right now that it works. That's very important. Commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability. So one of the ways that has helped me right now, consistently growing. With the people that I talk with, consistently growing. My YouTube channel, consistently growing. Forget the subscribers. Am I growing in how I make my videos? Are my videos much clearer? Is my message much clearer? When it comes to entrepreneurship and faith, things that I focus a lot on. What are some things that I can provide for you guys who are listening, for you guys who are the audience? Like, I'm doing this so that I can be able to impact the world. It's something that's beyond me. Like, sometimes I don't feel like doing any of this, but my commitment to continuity, to consistently growing so I can be able to continuously provide, get behind myself. Like sometimes you work and people don't recognize your work. Sometimes you work hard, but that's life. Like, you know what the crazy part is? You're not going to suffer hard like this. Here's the thing, because some of you guys might listen to what I'm saying, but like, yo, I don't want to do all that suffering, bro. Like, I get what you're saying. You're passionate, but I don't feel like I want to suffer all my life. Here's the reality, though. This is what you don't understand. I told you. Whether you're successful or not, challenges are going to come to you anyway. Like, the only difference with successful people is that they've paid the price and suffered more up front to suffer less in the back end. What do I mean? Like in the beginning, like for example, when you go to the gym, like when you're getting started, you're not seeing the results. You're going to the gym like 4 times a week for a whole year, and you're barely seeing the results. And then year two comes start coming in, and you're like, oh, I'm seeing some definition. I'm losing a little bit of weight. Year three coming, year four comes in, and by year five, year six, you're like a Olympic, like Greek god. You know what I mean? With the body, it's just amazing. And that's when people start noticing. And that's when people are like, yo, my God, how do you have that type of physique? How have you lost so much weight? Oh my God, Mary, you've lost so much weight. Mike, oh my God, you're so ripped. Like, how did that happen? They didn't see year 1 or 2 where there was no change and you were super overweight and obese. Well, I didn't see that. Right? Or maybe you didn't have so much weight, but you just couldn't put up a muscle to save your life. Yeah, they didn't see that, but you paid the price. Most people, what they will do, they will go in their life, average, and they will spend the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, have no change, but you've experienced enough pain within 5 years to get the results that it might take them 40 years to realize. Right? And the amount of pain you've experienced in that 5 years is like hell. But now the remainder of the 35 years, let's say if you both live the next 40 years, them, those who are lazy, those who want to be average, those individuals, right? We're not like them, right? So if you listen to this, you're definitely not like them. Because if you listen to this and you watch my content, then you're definitely not like them. So here's why I'm reminding you why you should not give up if it's tough for you right now. Right? Because I feel like somebody needs to listen to this. If it's tough for you right now, the reason why you're not like them is because they're going to live their next 40 years of their life average. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to come back and die average. You, in the next 5 years, are going to eat crap. You're going to eat crap. You're going to eat crap. It's going to suck. And by the time you think that it's over, it's still going to suck even more. But in the next 5 years, you're going to eat crap. And then the next 35 years, your life is going to be 10 times better than their 40 years. That's what I'm telling you, that you have to have commitment to continuity, right? So in the next 5 years, you got to look at the goal. Keep your head straight ahead. Proverbs chapter 4, it says, I keep my mind focused straight ahead. I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm not getting distracted. Solomon understood this. You want to get your goals, you got to stay focused, right? Your wife said, hey, babe, I want to do all these things. Like, babe, the goal was to do this. The goal was to buy a house. The goal was to build a business. So now you think the goal is to do that? Your husband is like, oh, you think the goal is playing PlayStation? No, the goal is to do that. Like, I haven't played video games in years. Why? I don't need that because my goal is ahead. I'm committed. Commitment to continuity. I'm committed to continue. I'm not saying you don't have to take a break, but at some point in the beginning, there's no balance. You have to be committed. You have to be committed so that later on you can enjoy the results of your work. Why? Because if you don't plant the seed now, baby, when it's time to harvest, there'll be nothing to harvest. But if you plant the seed now while the other are distracted, when there'll be time for you to harvest the thing, they will be distracted. You will have what you need to harvest. Oh my God. All right, listen, I'm getting fired up. I'm getting fired up. All right, I gotta go. But here's the thing I just want you to know, because I think this somebody needed to hear, right? Consistently growing. Remember, for you to have emotional stability, please listen to me. Commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability. I heard this statement, and I think it was congruent with everything I believed. This gentleman just verbally expressed what was deep inside of me, and I want you to know, consistently growing leads you to remain committed to continuity. Continuity means never giving up, having stick-it-to-itiveness. If that is a word, I don't care. It's just being able to never give up, have perseverance, have endurance, have what the Marines say, I'm going to go there if it kills me. There's only two ways. I love something that I've heard Elon Musk say one time. He said, listen, I'm going to go there. There's the only way they're going to stop me. The only way that will stop me is if I'm dead or fully incapacitated. Either like Will Smith said it better. He said, I'm going to get on the treadmill, you're going to get on the treadmill, and I'm going to go here. And there's two things. You either are going to get off before me or I'm going to die here. You got to say that. I'm committed to my goals. I'm not going to get off my goals. It's going to suck. Yes. A hard times are going to come. Yes. I'm going to have to cry. Yes. You're going to have to cry. Yes. Are you going to look for people who believe in you gonna leave you? Yes. Are people who love you are gonna try to distract you and try to talk you out of your dream? Yes. Those things are a requirement, because the moment you decide you want to be successful, well, I get you, life is going to test you. The universe is gonna say, God is gonna say, well, is that really what you want to do? Well, here's the path. Jesus, on his way, wanted to save earth. At one point, he had to realize he had to take the cross. And one thing that was crazy is, on his way to the cross, he even said, oh my God, God, can you take this cup away from me? Then he realized, no, that was the price to pay. So you're going to have to pay the price. If Christ paid the price, you're going to have to pay your price. That is life. Man, that's all that I got for you, man. I love you guys, man. Like, this was a passionate one, because I felt like somebody need to hear this. Like, something, like, I don't know why, but somebody need to hear this. Don't give up. You're close. You've been doing this for years, and it feels like it's. Trust me, you're almost there. Don't give up yet. I feel like I'm talking to myself as well. I'm like, we're there. We're there. We got. If it means the next 5 years, like, how long am I going to do this until it happens? We're not giving up until we see the result. That's the mindset we gotta have. That's the mindset we gotta have. Commitment to continuity leads to emotional stability. Man, I love you guys, man. That's all I got for you. Remember, you're God's very best. Love you guys.